Guys, she is finally here, the greatest grandma in all of anime. Seiko Ayase kicked so much ass in this episode. Science Saru, or should I say Wincience Waru, once again keeps outdoing themselves, and this third episode nails one of the most impressive first 3 episodes run I've seen in anime recently. Seriously, how many anime can you name in which the first 3 episodes were this good? Okay, but actually, that's an interesting question now that I think about it. Shut your pie hole, me. We got Dandadan to talk about. Listen, y'all, I'm a partner with Supps. When using my code, you get 10% off every order, and you can use it with free samples as well if you're on the fence. I personally recommend the new Senpai Problems Cup and the Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Energy flavor, or the anime Girl Thighs flavor, because I'm an anime channel, of course. Thank you for your support, and thank you to Supps for being an incredible partner. All right, so this episode primarily focuses around introducing one of my favorite characters in all of modern shonen currently, Momo Ayase's grandmother, Seiko Ayase, known in the public eye under the name Santa Dodoria, which I love that name, by the way, it's so good. When we first see her, she is telling the fortune of a celebrity and seems to get every single thing wrong about him, and since it's just a local TV spot, they decide to air it anyway. This opening perfectly set the stage for the Seiko, shall we say, G-MILF character. She's basically framed as a fraud, just like how her daughter framed her. And this is a representation, I think, of how society views people like Seiko. She's weird to them, she's a total fraud, but in reality, because they don't open their minds up to a broader horizon, they kind of just reject her wholesale. Even though it's not exclusively stated in the chapter outright, I think it's pretty subtle, but the tone and framing suggests she just gets no respect in society. But never doubt the wisdom of a mega hot granny, as they say. But back with the kids, Momo was held up by Turbo Granny with a very gratuitous panty shot, and you know, that felt very unneeded. And yes, I know, I'm about to get 100 comments telling me I'm a soy boy SJW who doesn't like sex or I need therapy or something, but 1, I started therapy last week, and 2, guys, I hate underwear. I say going commando should be a rite of passage, plus why not just invent a new type of underwear, like call it mega underwear or something. That's right, who's the sex-hating SJW freak now? Go woke, go broke, fools. All right, joking aside, just having some fun, y'all. Seiko makes her way into the fray by immediately attacking Turbo Granny as we get one of the best introductions in the series yet, with an insanely fluid and well-animated sequence. Turbo Granny pretty much is no match for Seiko's barriers and spirit powers, catching her on fire and then proceeding to trap her using a circle written on the ground with her bat pencil that says the power of Nessie. You know, honestly, I feel like any character wearing a Letterman and holding a bat is always cool. Seiko, yeah, she is one cool granny, isn't she? So with the bravado of a freaking god, she walks up to Turbo Granny, stares her down, and quite literally tells her that she doesn't plan to keep her trapped. Oh no, she plans to murder her ancient ass. I'm telling you guys right now, when I saw this in theaters, by the way, video here in the cards, if you missed that video where I went to the theaters with my mother to see Dandadan, but oh my god, the hair raised on my arms and I got goosebumps watching this. Pretty much the same here watching it at home in the comfort of my goth skinny jeans. And you know, don't blame me, they're comfortable, man, don't judge. But I also loved the taunting from Seiko. She just reeks big private area energy in every way, beating the crap out of Turbo Granny. This is one of the moments I think that was done perfectly in both the anime and manga, but just for the novelty of seeing it animated so well, I mean, I gotta give the slight edge to the anime version. Wincience Waru out here taking some dubs. I also love the ending to this scene too. It was simply Seiko standing up for Momo and threatening to kill Turbo Granny and the kid, because if there is any boy who hurts Momo, she will kill him, even if they are human. God, I think we gotta get Seiko the Wombo belt in her name to Waco, because god man, the dubs in this scene, there's so many. I also particularly loved the moment when Momo woke up to run down, realizing she passed out and needed to be around Okarun and that he may be in trouble. And this scene was just so amazing because it was a fantastic way to let the Seiko character have her kind of like I told you so moment, which allows Momo and Seiko to resolve the conflict between the two.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
And since they're family, it's all, water under the bridge. And I mean, the tense energy between them pretty much immediately melts away by the end of their conversation, which was just so satisfying narratively. I also admit I got a chuckle out of Seiko being addicted to Bakatono, while leisurely lying on her side in her virgin killer sweater, acting like a total bamf, by the way. And as well, I just love how she constantly kept bringing up how Momo was wrong about spirits. It also shows Momo's humility and ability to swallow her pride and prostrate for Seiko and apologize. So yeah, sue me, I love Seiko. So Momo goes to check on Okarun, who is alive and perfectly well, being the bestest boy ever. Seeing this, Momo immediately slams the door shut and, not knowing how to handle her feelings, hilariously calls him a four-eyed freak and, freaks out on him pretty much. And I love their dynamic. It's so refreshing, funny, and lighthearted. So Momo gives Seiko the rundown on what they went through and her powers activating, and once again, Seiko is great. Just like Momo did, she thinks aliens being real is bogus. And honestly, I think the reason this joke is just so funny is because it plays on a simple and the most essential element of comedy: obvious contradiction. It just doesn't make sense that a spirit medium wouldn't believe in aliens as one interpretation, and in the other interpretation, it's just utterly ridiculous that a spirit medium is saying insanely fantastical aliens don't exist when she herself is a legit spirit medium that knows crazy stuff exists. I mean, it's just funny. We also get a bit of a history lesson on the Turbo Granny yokai, and this is yet another instance of Tatsu's use of real-life legends and folklore, as in the real world, she is also known as the 100km/h Granny. And the legend goes, if you are speeding on the highway at extremely high speeds, Turbo Granny will knock on your window, and if you see her, you'll have a car accident. We learn that Seiko went to survey the tunnel where Turbo Granny was and found that there was a barrier, and she couldn't get near the tunnel. She explains the concept of bound spirits, and in that, these are spirits tied to areas with strong connections to them. The kicker here is that bound spirits are actually insanely strong, and there are 0 spirit mediums that could hope to stand a chance against them. Plus, to make matters worse, Turbo Granny has combined with that bound spirit as we see this just amazing art and animation. God, I love Wincy and Swaru. So, being told all of this, Momo channels Kenta Kakura. What would he do? Well, he'd try to help, which causes Seiko to belly laugh because she thinks she's confessing her love to Okarun. This is a joke I really enjoyed throughout this episode, because to us, it's very clear that Momo and Okarun are a canon ship, so this is, I think, Tatsu's way of telling the viewers that, yeah, that is kind of the point, right? Plus, everyone can see how much they already like each other anyway, so their bond is incredibly tight from the get-go, and they both try their best to support one another already. I mean, they're practically married at this point. So Seiko basically is like, hey, you guys gotta race Turbo Granny, and to make matters worse, she can't help them at all with her powers, so they'll need to train, especially Okarun, who can only go all out twice tops. And we get this moment between Momo and Okarun where Okarun shows his insecurity. He doesn't want Momo to stop being his friend and feels like he's a disappointment compared to her since she was able to take out that monster. But Momo reassures him that he's overthinking and that he's actually pretty cool. This honestly was just a great moment because it's another example of Okarun struggling with his confidence, and Momo spotting that, tries her best to just reinforce him and assure him he's actually the opposite. And honestly, he is kind of cool, isn't he? Though Seiko once again gets her comeuppance at the end of this episode, as the celebrity is revealed on TV to be a total fraud. Everything Santa Dodoria said was the truth. Also, gotta say, love Seiko's gut hanging out with her legs spread wide in the most comfortable position ever, chowing down like she's royalty. Seriously, guys, Seiko is such a mood. However, more pressing matters. Okarun, he needs to use the toilet, which ends in a very strange race between the three to the toilet, in which Momo loses when Seiko calls Okarun by his name. Plus, gotta say, god dang man, those jiggle physics, that costs someone days away from their family, and worth it. But before that, Momo tries to learn to control Okarun's aura without having to look at him, and it goes horribly, but I think by the end of this arc, we'll probably see her master this technique. That's what I'm probably guessing. But by the end of the episode, Turbo Granny comes out and essentially freezes time. She then tells Momo to meet her at the tunnel at night, and later that night, we see them in their spiritual clothing, which looks stunning on all of them. Seriously, I love old Japanese stuff, like, Their culture is just rife with beautiful clothing and history, but Seiko sees Momo off with a warm hug. This was such a nice moment, and it shows that, yeah, they had their differences, but now that is all behind them because they're family. And family supports family. Guys, the last video got 300 likes. So my challenge to you is to get this video to 350 likes. So share it out to spread the videos in the algorithm and grow the Dandadan and Sea Tactics community. As well, check out my second channel where I cover new chapters of Dandadan weekly, and my other channel, Bento, where I cover new chapters of Chainsaw Man. We're nearly there for monetization on the Dandadan channel, so every subscription helps out immensely with that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.